You're live.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr., and joining me is Tim motherfucking GIBiz.
How you doing, Bless?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. We haven't talked in a while.
I know it's been a long time. You know, I busted out the PlayStation bomber jacket. I don't think I've ever worn this on camera. Pretty excited.
I'm busting out the Space Jam shirt, and so we're both rocking brands right now.
I love it.
How you been, man?
I've been pretty good, pretty damn good. You know, just here, just working, just watching movies to review for in review. Living a good life. Living a good life.
Do you do everything in that theater, like all your media stuff, video games and movies, everything?
All of it.
How's it been treating you?
It's been very, very, very nice. Sometimes games can be a little intimidating on the screen this big. Like if cameras are like close to characters, then you get kind of motion sick because it's like everything kind of feels like VR. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome.
That makes sense.
Here's the thing I want to talk about before we get into all the nerdy news you need to know about and all that stuff. Okay,
of course.
The PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. We've heard all the jokes. Oh, it sounds like a jet taking off. Okay.
Yeah,
it really does. We all know that. We can all confirm that the PlayStation 4's fan is insanely loud at all times. But my question is it safe? I haven't heard any stories of it breaking from this, but I'm hearing my PlayStation go and it's whirling and I touch it and that thing is hot.
Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If your PlayStation has like exploded or overheated to the point where it's like, oh snap, this is a problem, let us know, because I haven't heard anybody really talk about
my thing.
PS4 shutting down. Like there's no, like the PS3 had the yellow light of death and the Xbox 360 had the red ring. Yeah. And I've not really heard anything from this generation about those things. Granted, like my PS4 actually doesn't sound crazy for the most part until like unless my room is hot. Like if it's a hot day and I don't have the AC on or whatever's going on, then my PS4 will start like getting up there. But for the most part, I feel like my PS4 stays pretty chill. But the days where it like the fan is going, I'm still surprised that it doesn't shut down, because that thing sounds like it
sounds like it's so ready. Now here's the extra X factor that I'm gonna add to this, and I'm sure we got science with Kev at some point. Kev's gonna have something to tell me about this, and I would appreciate it because I want some knowledge here. But I keep my consoles in this guy. So I got the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. They're not backed on top of each other. Like they have their own shelves. There's ample space and room around them, and there's some holes in the back of this thing for ventilation. So it's like this. Before I used to have them just totally exposed, but it would still be an issue. But now when I'm playing in this thing, even when I open the door, I'll usually open one of the doors when I'm playing, just to
just smoke,
just to let it happen. But when I open it up, it literally just feels like the whole space is just hot, like an oven. And I'm is
it ventilated well? Is this a Kevin joint?
No, what? Well, I mean, it's not ventilated well because they're closed off little boxes. Get off, Thomas. They're closed off little boxes.
But there is holes though.
No, there is holes, but like I think what's happening is it creates like a funnel inside. It does look like there's a bunch of tutorials on how to fix fans on the PS4. So it does and some people are talking about it breaking, but I don't think that this is a super serious thing. I think this is more people concerned about the noise that the fan makes.
Yeah, and it's loud.
Yeah, because as far as like the fixing fan stuff, like it doesn't seem like it's a problem of like the fan is going for no reason. It seems like the PS4 is heating up, causing the fan to go faster. They talked about this in the whole PS5 specs thing that Mark Cerny did, where like the PS5 the PS4 tends to get hot, and the whole thing with the PS5 is cooling solutions, I believe, or I guess the way in which they're processing. I forget what he said exactly, but yeah, it seems to just be a thing where a lot of video games are happening. You know, the video games are powerful.
Too many video games, man. No, but I hope that the PS5 solves it. But it's just weird to me that like this is a problem. Even without this, it's a problem. But like putting a console in a media console shouldn't be the end of the world. But oh bless, it is.
It shouldn't cause you to concern. Can you hear it from like out, like when you're just playing?
Like not just can I hear it, like if it was on, you'd hear it from here.
Oh wow.
Like Gia was doing a little like friend hangout a couple days ago while I was playing games, and everyone heard it. And I had my headphones on over there.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I digress.
Anyway, today's stories don't include. Oh, actually, they kind of do include specs for consoles. Today's stories include Phil Spencer's IGN interview, Good Guy, Sony, and more. Because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live, right here on Twitch.tv/KindofFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on YouTube.com/KindofFunnyGames or listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show, head to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Now it's time for some housekeeping. Troy Baker comes to We Have Cool Friends this Friday. I am very excited because oh yeah, happy birthday, Troy Baker. We should say that because it was his birthday yesterday. I saw people posting pics of them and Troy Baker because apparently everybody has a pic of them and Troy Baker. Except
he's been out there, man. You know, shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah, kissing babies, except not this month because you shouldn't be shaking all the hands. That's that's bad. You shouldn't be doing that. Social distance.
Bad, Troy
Baker.
Stop it.
But if you do want to hang out with Troy Baker this Friday, right after KFGD, it'll be Greg Miller. It'll be Troy Baker. Make sure to write in your questions to patreon.com/kindoffunny if you have any questions for Troy Baker. Of course, that is Joel from The Last of Us. That's was he Booker DeWitt or was that Nolan North? I always get their roles mixed up because they're in everything. But of course, Troy Baker, one of the most celebrated, achieved voice actors in the industry. So stay tuned for that. Today at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're having a community Into the Spider-Verse Netflix party. Bring your own happy hour cocktail /mocktail. It's going down. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a bunch of people in the community just hanging out, watching Into the Spider-Verse together. Stay tuned to @JoeyNoel on Twitter for the link shortly before it starts. It's gonna be a good time. If you're unfamiliar with Netflix Party, basically it's an extension. It's like a Chrome extension that you can use, so you can have your Netflix viewing like matched up with other people. You just go to Chrome. I don't know like exactly like the link or where you go for the Chrome extensions,
really
but
cool.
Yeah, you go into the Chrome extensions, you download Netflix Party. I think you download it or you add it, you do whatever. And then once you hit the link, you click the NP button that'll now be in your Chrome toolbar. And then boom, you're watching movies with people. There's like a chat there too. And so I think Twitch chat, but for Netflix. It's an awesome time. I've been doing it quite a bit lately. It'll be fun. Make sure to stay tuned @JoeyNo on Twitter for the link shortly before it starts. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Muhammad, Al Tribesman, and Blackjack. Today, we're brought to you by patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We got 3 stories today.
Yep.
And that thank you, Kevin. First of all, that was amazing. And 3 stories might not sound like a lot, but story number 1 is a doozy because Tim, Phil Spencer, the man, the myth, the legend, sat down. Uncle Phil sat down. Rest in peace.
We call him.
Sat down with not rest in peace to Phil Spencer, the Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince.
Yes.
Rest in peace to him.
He died?
Sat down. The actor did.
Really?
Did you know he was the voice actor of Shredder, Kevin?
No, I did. I did know that.
Yeah, it was very tragic. But that's why in J. Cole's song, No More Role Models, he says, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil, for real. Yeah. And so, rest in peace.
Oh, that makes hella sense now.
For real. Yep. Yeah. Now, if you listen to that song, you're like, oh, I get it now.
I get it. I get your references.
Phil Spencer sat down with the man, the myth, the legend, also, Ryan McCaffrey,
Uncle Ryan.
iTunes Unlocked. And they talked all about Xbox Series X, plans for the launch, plans for the future. And there are a whole bunch of tidbits, Tim. A whole bunch of tidbits. And
I'd expect nothing but less than the tidbits from Ryan McCaffrey and Phil Spencer.
When Ryan McCaffrey and
what
Phil
a
Spencer
dynamic duo there, though.
Dude, that's like when I don't know, like what's a more dynamic duo between Phil Spencer and Ryan McCaffrey, Mario and Luigi? It's like when they sit together, you know great things are gonna happen.
Great things are gonna. They might lose a princess or two, but it's all good.
It's all good.
This is like Greg Miller and Shuhei back in the day.
Yes, that's actually a really good example.
It's that type of thing, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yes. So basically, what I've done for this story is I pulled some choice quotes that I thought were either interesting or important. I pulled them from both WCCFtech and GameSpot because they had separate write-ups going on there and they highlighted different things. I'm going to start off with quotes from GameSpot, and I'm going to move on to a WCCF write-up, and then we'll talk from there. And so this comes from GameSpot. This is Phil Spencer talking about COVID-19 and how that affects Xbox Series X. This is Gabe Gurwin at GameSpot. Coronavirus concerns could throw a wrench in its plans, but Microsoft is hoping to launch Xbox Series X in all regions at the same time. Speaking to IGN during an episode of Podcast Unlocked, head of Xbox Phil Spencer said his team hasn't worked out a plan B if the pandemic forces Microsoft to stagger the system's launch. However, he understands why launching consoles in different regions at different times no longer works in the age of social media. Quote, I will say, having lived through the Xbox One launch, I know that significant delays in region launches hurt us, Spencer said. He continues, it hurts us with the sentiment of the fans, and every time I go to Japan, I'm reminded that we were, 9 months late in launching there with Xbox One. Spencer also said that the issues Microsoft still has to work through are primarily software-based, so launching the system itself at a different point would not solve them, which I'm going to highlight for us to come back to later. Then this is a different quote that I'm pulling from WCCFtech. This is Phil Spencer talking about pricing, staying agile, and their plan to win. Quote, this is Phil Spencer talking. You have to set a price target at the beginning of designing a console for yourselves. I feel good about the price we're going to be able to get to. I feel good about the price and performance capabilities of the Xbox Series X. I feel incredibly good about the overall package. We're definitely going to be keeping our eyes wide open as we continue towards launch, looking at what the competition is doing, but we have a plan and we feel very solid about our plan. Long ago, you and I sat, and this is Phil talking about him and Ryan. You and I sat in a room, and I said that I wanted to win, and you got frustrated with me for years about where is this winning plan. I believe we have a plan that can win. We're getting chills. We're getting some incredible support from Microsoft. Satya Nadella, my boss, the CEO, Amy Hood, the CFO, they're very linked into what our plans are. We're going to make sure we stay agile on our pricing and that we have a good plan going into launch. I'm going to stop there.
Good
Tim,
call.
What are your thoughts on all this?
Again, I love the transparency. Phil's always great with this type of stuff. I do like the quote about it hurts with the sentiment of the fans, and every time I go to Japan, I'm reminded that we were 9 months late launching there. I can just see him walking through the streets of Tokyo, just like looking around, haunted by the ghost of his past. Xbox One.
He's just seeing Vitas on shelves, and he's like, damn, there's more Vitas than Xboxes out here.
Damn. But no, so it's like, again, it's good to hear him talking about this as if it is something that they want to win, because I feel like they're very well could just be the sentiment of like, oh no, it's not a competition and whatever. It's like, no, they're going for blood here, and they understand that they didn't win this side of the race, and I feel like they're definitely setting everything up, talking about all the pricing, talking about what they're going to do to make sure that they're launching worldwide at the same time. Those are all smart tactics that he's right, like in this day and age, are key to success. You highlighted this bit about Spencer also said the issues Microsoft have to work through are primarily software based, so it's not about the console itself. What does this kind of make you think?
So I think this is very important to the conversation that we've been having a lot on Kind of Funny between KFGD and PS11 and all our shows about how does COVID-19 affect the console launches? Because me and Greg have theorized the different things they could do. I forget who brought up the idea of staggering launches. Say like if you don't have enough consoles to produce worldwide, maybe you start in Japan and the US and then work your way to Europe and other regions from there. And so the idea specifically that the what they have to work through is software based. And so like how are they launch this, like launching the system at a different point wouldn't solve them. I think lends more credence to the idea that they're going to be good to go for the fall in terms of hardware. And this is a thing that I've been very skeptical about from both the Sony and Microsoft side of like, do you guys really know like how production is going to go, how manufacturing is going to go?
Skeptical about it, man. Like we don't know the ramifications of this, and it's going to be a while till we do. Like I'm already seeing like on our side of things, like when it comes to like the sponsors of our shows, like almost every day I'm getting different emails that are just like, don't worry, it's business as usual. And then there's people that are pulling out because they're like, oh, you know what? Sorry, we thought it was business as usual, but we can't manufacture the things that we need to. So we're going to have to pull out. And so it's like, this is evolving so quickly. And when it comes, there's there's going to be so many different elements that are going into these systems that are being created on a worldwide basis that I don't know. I don't know that like they can say that it's not going to affect it, with certainty. But I do think that you can do that with the mentality that is the plan and that you're going to act that way until you absolutely can't anymore. I think the software-based thing is not so much that there's an issue with the development of Halo, for example. It's not like, things are going poorly on the game side. It's that they're foreseeing that the COVID stuff is going to hinder their ability to, to create the games.
Like the work from home stuff that we've talked a lot about on Kind of Funny Games. Like, we've seen and we've already seen examples actually reflected on the show. We've reported on games that have been delayed like a month or weeks or however long. There's a game that's coming out in new dates that has been delayed due to COVID-19, right? Like we've seen visibly the effects that this whole situation that we're in right now kind of affects software. But this is on one of the Kevin, I don't think you're muted.
Wait, sorry, hold on 2 seconds. The mic got unplugged and it killed your audio. Give me 2 seconds. Settings, stream, output, audio. There we go. Desktop audio set to Yeti. Okay. All right.
Kevin.
We back?
Yeah.
May I ask, how did the mic get unplugged?
I was trying to figure out if there's any way to separate the audio from what? Why are you guys laughing?
We were just talking, and then all of a sudden it sounded like your mic turned on, and then we just heard a little yelp, and then we just heard like some sounds.
Oh, you hear rumbling, and you're like, I just imagine like Kevin is like, I'm gonna make some hot chocolate for some reason, and then like gets up, and then like
I turn the
fumbles
bottom.
The whole desk.
I turn the bottom of the mic up like I'm doing now, and I realized that the mini USB cable was like about to break, and I was like, oh shit, and then I turned it back and unplugged it to make sure that it was like safe. Plugged it back in, and then I looked up, and it's like, oh nope, the audio's gone.
Got it. They can hear us now though.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. But what I was saying was, this is the most open we've had somebody at the top from either of these console manufacturers talking about COVID-19 and the actual effect that they can have on the releases. And I'm still fairly skeptical about what manufacturing is going to look like if these consoles are really going to come out in the fall. But this is the most I've been hopeful.
That's a good way to put it, because I feel like we've seen the different images of like coming holiday, and like even PlayStation kind of updated its website like reiterating that holiday time frame.
Yes.
But having it come from Phil himself, I do think gives it a different air of confidence.
Yeah, and there was an interview either earlier this week or last week or not an interview, it was a press release from PlayStation saying that they are like things are going as usual, right? And they also pointed out that software could see some weirdness going on in terms of software getting delayed or whatever it may be, but the plan for them also is still to have the consoles out by fall. Phil Spencer coming out and saying though, and actually saying that, hey, if it comes down to it, it's going to be more on software than hardware in terms of where we're at with the console release. Like pushing hardware isn't necessarily going to be the thing that is the solution. I think grants more context to what's going on in how we can kind of view things.
Speaking of that software, man, I'm real excited for Halo Infinite. I was thinking about it a couple of days ago. I'm like, we're getting it this year. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
And like, God, that's gonna be. I'm itching for a Halo, and especially like a next gen Halo. Let's go.
So I didn't include it in the story, but there was also another Phil Spencer quote that was talking about IPs he'd love to see come back, and he was talking about Mech Assault and Crimson Skies, and I believe there was like another one in those ilk. And it was Phil Spencer. Very, very awesome personality at Xbox. Like he's an awesome leader, but also from the sense that he's very open and honest, and like he doesn't seem to bullshit from what I can tell. And so I appreciate that. And I would love to see another Mech Assault because those games always look cool to me.
If Mech Assault comes out with a new controller, I'm gonna buy that shit. I just want y'all to know.
That wasn't Mech
Assault. You're thinking about
Stallion. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And I Googled it, too. I Googled Mechasol controller, and that image pops up hella. Mechasol was fun. Same shit, right?
No, one was more arcadey. Similar
Right.
idea.
Mechasol, right? Was more arcadey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck Mechasol, man.
I have a couple... Wait, did you say fuck Mechasol?
Yeah, I want Steel Battalion to come out with a new controller. I always wanted that
fair.
damn controller.
I have a couple more quotes from this Phil Spencer, Ryan McCaffrey interview. This is Phil Spencer on crossplay. Quote, I will say it kind of comes back to sentiment. You should be able to play with the people you want to play with. And if we can support that and we can be advocates and champions for that, great. Tim Sweeney has been out there pushing hard on this. We think crossplay, cross progression, cross buy are things that people should be able to expect in this year with the digital currencies and economies that are out there. But yeah, I feel really good that crossplay is growing in popularity. I still don't see it everywhere, so the battle is not won. And then lastly, this is Phil Spencer talking about hardware specs and specifically the Mark Cerny PlayStation presentation. Quote, I felt really good about how Series X lines up. I think Mark and the team did some really good work on the audio processing that they talked about. Their SSD technology is impressive. We like that. We saw the work that they did, but we took a holistic view on our platform from CPU to GPU to RAM to throughput, velocity architecture, latency, and backwards compatibility. It took us years to get to this point, so I definitely have respect for any platform team that's launching because it takes a lot of work. But I will say, when we finally saw the public disclosure, I felt even better about the choices that we made on our platform. And I kind of expected that I would. The hardware team that did Xbox One S and Xbox One X, I just have a lot of confidence in them. If I give them the time and the targets to go hit, I believe in their ability to create great end-to-end program. And
hell yeah, dude. That is just like, how is he so good at speaking? Like that this is just how you fucking do it, where it's like you talk yourself up, you talk the other guy down, and then you talk up the team. It's just great. Good for you, Phil. Like all good news.
Yeah, it's all good stuff he's saying here. I really vibe with what he's saying about crossplay. And again, I like how open he's being. The idea that like he's also in the place where he believes that we should be further in crossplay, or that right now in crossplay, we should have certain expectations with crossplay, cross progression, all those things. And it seems like he's an advocate for it. The way he's saying the battle is not won, that makes me think that we're going to get there. That we're going to get to a place where that is just the standard crossplay.
It's on Sony's court now,
progression, all that stuff. And yeah, it's in Sony's court. And then yeah, like in terms of like talk yourself up, talk the other people down a bit. The quote of I felt even better about the choices that we made on our platform.
Yeah.
After we finally saw the disclosure, like that is the closest I've heard like talking shit so far from this current console race. And yeah, like I'm looking forward to what the future holds for these two platforms, because like so far I'm hearing Phil Spencer say a lot of the right things, and I feel like Sony, and we have a question coming up that will dive deeper into this, but I feel like Sony's not yet at the place where they want to come out and talk as freely with their stuff. I feel like maybe they should get there a bit quicker, but once we kind of get to that place, say like a few months from now, assuming that the presentation, like the big PS5 presentation, whatever happens by June, I'm curious to see what the conversations will look like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I just feel like at the end of the day, though, and I know this is just beating a dead horse, but it's like it does come down to the games, and it's like I feel like nothing PlayStation has done so far, despite internet comments, nothing they've done so far has stopped anyone from wanting to buy a PS5 that was gonna buy a PS5. Right? They know what they're getting. I feel like the bigger question is, can Xbox convert? You know, can Xbox do anything that gets people to be like, you know what, I'm going to buy an Xbox instead of a PlayStation? And that's a tall order that specs and power are not going to do if the games aren't there.
Tim, Midnight Owl writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and asks the questions. Midnight Owl writes, hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. Big Philly was on IGN's Unlocked. Big Philly. I love all these nicknames. Big Philly was on IGN's
Hold on,
Unlocked.
Tim, are you a cat or a kitten?
I'm a kitty.
I knew it.
You're a kitten? That makes me a cat. Big Philly was on IGN's Unlocked podcast yesterday doing what Philly Smalls does best. saying the right things about the Xbox, what people want to hear, and setting Xbox up for a strong start to the beginning of the next generation of consoles. My question is, though, and if the KF community would like to join in too in the chat for a quick poll, are either of you being swayed more to choose the Xbox Series X over the PS5? Doesn't matter which is the best console. If you walked into a retailer tomorrow and the PS5 and Xbox Series X were sat next to each other, priced the same, which would you pick up? The games will be shown at a later date, yes, but I think most people's reaction to any consumer-friendly pro gamer Xbox move is, that's great, I love it, I'm still going to get a PS5 though. And I guess the main sentiment of this is Microsoft's marketing moving the needle at all? Stay safe, wash those sexy hands, blessings to all, Midnight Owl.
So I'm in the very lucky and privileged position that I have already been sold on both of these consoles, and I'm planning on purchasing both of these consoles. However, if I wasn't, then I would go PlayStation 5 because that's where the games I want to play.
Yeah, you would.
I know are going to be there. And they've proven that now to me. That even goes as far back as the PlayStation 3, which lost, but it had the games I wanted to play over the 360. So I went PlayStation 3. But I do think that Microsoft is really more so than ever taking all of these little pro gamer things and putting them together in a package that's really easy to understand. And they're owning the conversation right now. What will that conversation translate to? I don't think it's going to translate to an overnight shift, but I do think that there is just a mind share that all of this pre-launch stuff is going to affect 4 years down the line when we're looking back on where we're at in the race between PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So yeah, I don't know, but I would be shocked if there are people that are at this point already committing to going to Xbox over PlayStation.
That's my thing. Is
hadn't priorly been in that ecosystem.
It's way too early to commit right now to either. For me, I'm obviously committed, or I'm not gonna say obviously, but I am committed to PS5 for the games, and that's really what it kind of comes down to. Is like I can't get Spider-Man on Xbox. I can't get I can't get Last of Us or Last of Us Part 2, which I imagine will probably also be on PS5. I can't get that on Xbox. I can't get God of War 2 or whatever, like Horizon Zero Dawn. There's so many great exclusives that PlayStation has that have me bought in over Xbox, right? There are people who do prefer Xbox exclusives over PlayStation, being Halo or Forza or whatever it may be. But I think for the most part, or not, I'm not gonna speak broadly. For me and for people that are bought into PlayStation already, they're there for the games. And if games weren't a factor, I think this would be a way more interesting conversation. I could see myself being more on the side of Xbox if that was the case. Why would
you not want the stronger thing, right? Like,
yeah, like,
but games are a thing.
Yeah, but games are a thing, right? Xbox being seemingly the more powerful console, Xbox having Xbox Game Pass, Xbox having a bunch of different services, like all those things have spoken to me in a way where right now in the process of console reveals, Sony hasn't really had anything that has spoken to me features wise, but I also don't think Sony's in that place in their conversation yet. I think that conversation comes in a month or 2 months or 3 months whenever they have that big blowout. Dude, and so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Sony hasn't said anything in an exciting way to me, but everything that they're saying I'm interested in, like all of the SSD stuff, all the audio stuff. I'm like, this is going to be great for these games. And I think that's the key thing is we can see into the future a bit, and we know that those games you just mentioned are coming. We know that we're getting the sequels to the games that we love. Like that's a foregone conclusion. And Sony right now is just kind of telling us like, hey, we're not just making the most powerful PC ever. Like we're making something that's focused, and the new features we're adding and the new tech we're adding is designed around enhancing our exclusive games, right? If you read between the lines, like that's what they're talking about. And it's like, great. So you're just telling me that you're building this to play your exclusives better. Those are the things I want to play. Fantastic, right? Whereas the Xbox, similar to how I function currently, my Xbox One X is my third-party machine. I prefer to play third-party games there because they're better. The 4K options are better and all that stuff. There's definitely exceptions. I don't know why Resident Evil runs like shit on the Xbox One X. It happened with RE2 and it happened again with 3. What the fuck? But most of the time, that's kind of what sways me. But I'm excited to see such different philosophies be doubled down on both sides. And I think that has the potential to make next gen more interesting than any generation we've ever seen. Where imagine a world where there's not a clear winner. Like, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, and I mean, I think at this point, like, I'm already at the point where that's what next gen is going to be, right? Like, because at this point, right now, where we're at with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, like Xbox One is the loser, but like, loser doesn't even feel right to say. Xbox One started off way behind, and like, yeah, in terms of sales, Microsoft hasn't caught up to PlayStation. Like, it's not even close. But in terms of how we view both consoles or view both companies, like, I can see an argument for either. I can see why somebody would want to go to Xbox because of Game Pass, or because of like how they've operated over the last couple of years. Like that, like there have been so many consumer friendly moves coming out of Xbox in a way that has made me not really like. I don't really see winners and losers at this point in the generation for PS4 and Xbox One. And I think that's just gonna bleed over.
I know this is like a flamey thing to say, but it's just like, but at the end of the day, what exclusive Xbox games did I care about this gen? You know, like, let me rephrase that. If you were to ask me, like, what games have you cared about this gen? I wouldn't name a single Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, but you just said you play all your third-party games on Xbox, though.
I do.
Which for them, I think, is just as good.
Absolutely. That's true. But that's the thing of, like, we're getting to such ridiculous levels of that's just preference. Like, I wouldn't be upset if I had to play them on the PlayStation 4 Pro. You know what I mean? It's not like it's like that much better. It's just like, I'm the type of person that I want the best. I want the best tech that I can have. But it's like, I'm definitely the minority there. Like, that's not the like how most people play their games and think about their games. Because those people are playing on PC.
Yeah, no, that's the thing too. Like, next gen for Xbox, I am excited to see what they do, because it seems like they've found a way. And it sounds weird, but like, them leaning off of trying to sell the box and them leaning into, hey, Xbox is just a platform. It's not. It doesn't. I think I can't remember if it was them that said this quote, or like what the context of this quote when it happened, but I remember it came out from them of saying, it doesn't matter how many like consoles we sell. What's the more important number is user base or active users, right? Like, that being the idea, like, that active users can come from anywhere, right? If you put Xbox and Switch, boom, like, you're gonna have active users in Xbox on the Switch platform, or if you're able to do, or I mean, PC is already a thing for Xbox, right? Those are active users. Xbox One, Xbox Series X. If Phil Spencer can find a way to put Xbox on PlayStation, he would. That's the number that more matters to them, and I don't think you get that number through.
I buy that, and I'm with you, but I do just want to present the idea that, like, that is that the number that matters to them, or is that the number that they're saying matters to them because it's the bigger number? You know.
But do you feel like console sales matters? Do you feel like console sales matters to Microsoft as much as it matters to Sony?
Yes. Really? I do.
I don't think so.
But I mean, this thing is, like, at the end of the day, it's money, and it's like, you want those numbers to be as big as possible. Like, it's kind of silly at some point to talk about what numbers are more important than the other numbers. And don't get me wrong, having that install base that you could get the subscription revenue from is fantastic, but there's a lot of steps there, right? It's like, there's a lot of if this then that's, where cool, their active users are probably, there's a huge chunk of them that are from that $1 ultimate deal, right? Do they stay on after? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
it's the conversion rates at some point.
I feel like a lot of them probably stay on. Like, a lot of them stay on in place in ways that you wouldn't expect. Like, Xbox Game Pass being a thing on PC probably sees a lot more return on that platform than you probably expect. Or I don't know, I feel like the barometers is way different for Xbox and how they're looking forward to the future and measuring their success in a way where for Sony, they're like, Sony is very much selling the PS5, and they're selling the PS5 through having exclusive games, through making deals, through making that the place you want to be as a gamer. Whereas Microsoft, for Xbox, I feel like they've kind of given it up in terms of trying to sell Xbox as a console, and not that, like, and not giving up as in like Xbox is done, we don't care anymore, but they've given up on the box. Like, I think calling it the series, I think alludes to that. The idea that there can be multiple series, and then of course, like we have multiple Xbox Ones, right? The 1X, 1S, but I feel like they become way more fluid with it in a way that allows them to maneuver as more of a platform than a box, and in a way where they can see success as a platform and not necessarily have to compete directly with the other guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so excited, man. This is, I said it earlier, but like this is just so exciting that there are such different philosophies being put to the test here. But again, it's still, you still need the games. So but so far they have Halo Infinite, so they have my attention.
And they got that Hellblade
and too. They got Hellblade. Yeah, it's like this is already a great start. Let's just see if they can keep it up, you know. And I do have faith in them. Like they've been building this. Like Phil and the team have been saying all the right things, and so far everything they've said they've been backing up. So like I love this whole the him and Ryan thing. He's like, hey, like what's the winning strategy? It's just like I'm hoping that we see that winning strategy now, and like I tend to believe that that's the case.
Number 2, Tim. Sony sets up a $100 million COVID-19 relief fund. I'm pulling this from James Batchelor at gamesindustry.biz. Sony Corporation has established a global relief fund pouring $100 million into supporting those affected by the spread of coronavirus. An initial $10 million will be devoted to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund by the WHO, United Nations Foundation, Mike Jones, United Nations Foundation, and Swiss Philanthropy, as well as Doctors Without Borders, UNICEF, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. These represent the first of 3 pillars Sony will be concentrating on in distributing this fund, namely frontline medical workers and organizations helping with response efforts to the virus. The other 2 pillars will be educators that must now work remotely, and the children they support, as well as members of the creative community in the entertainment industry. Sony has several interests impacted in the latter, including delayed film releases, although the company does not expect the pandemic to affect the planned launch of the PS5 later this year. Sony is now exploring ways to use its technologies to support educational activities and work with remote educators on implementing this. Tim, this is good on Sony, correct?
Yeah, fantastic stuff, man. $100 million is a lot of money. A lot of money. It's going to go to good needs right now. Things that have to happen for any of this to continue.
And I listened to KFGD yesterday, and they had quite a few stories of other companies doing similar things, finding ways to give money to help with this COVID-19 situation. I believe Rockstar is giving 5% of their current, I think, revenue to GTA Online to go towards coronavirus, to go towards helping with relief for coronavirus. And so it's great. You love to see it. It's great when companies put in effort to make the world a better place. I know like Gary Whittle on yesterday's episode was saying a lot like, you know, this is something I never thought I'd say, but good work, companies. And then by the end of the episode, there was the Borderlands or the Gearbox story, which kind of took that all back. But you love to see when good things happen. And so for now, I'm going to say good on Sony for donating $100 million to COVID-19 relief. Number 3, Tim. Do you want to watch some game trailers?
I do want to watch some game trailers, Bless. Let's do it. That sounds fun.
So today's not like a crazy news day, but yesterday and this morning, actually, there were quite a few trailers that dropped, and there are quite a few like dope trailers. That dropped, and so I want to give a few a watch. The first one I'm pulling is Mortal Shell. Kev's gonna get that prepared, but I'm gonna read this description that they wrote. I'm trying to find the studio. It's a new studio. Oh yeah, it's here. So the uncompromising, authentic, and hauntingly beautiful action RPG built upon the ruthless traditions of the Souls-like genre has been revealed for the first time by newly announced indie studio Cold Cemetery and its publishing partner PlayStack. The eye-opening world premiere trailer featuring a sample of its exquisitely crafted worlds, fearsome combat, and menacing foes. Kev, do you have this up for us? Go ahead and click play.
Sorry, I was just adjusting the audio for you.
Oh, thanks. Tim, did you get a chance to watch this one already?
No.
Okay. I watched it. This thing looks sick.
Okay.
I love it.
2 seconds. Can you hear it all right?
Take your time, Kevin.
You seem different.
Wait, you guys can't hear it?
No.
At all?
Untouched by false truths.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me text some shit out.
Do your thing.
Tim, do you think you'll ever play a Souls-like?
That's
what this is.
I've always been interested in trying Bloodborne because everyone says it's a little bit more fast-paced.
Yeah.
And then you and Andy both were kind of playing through it the same. You beat it, right?
No, I'm like halfway through it.
Okay. You guys started playing at the same time, and I was like, I did have a feeling, thought of like, this is my chance. I should do it now, and then I didn't.
Dude,
so
it's still. I mean, it's still your chance. It's not too late. Like I'm really enjoying. The reason why I've kind of stopped is just other games that come out, and I want to. When I'm playing Bloodborne, I kind of want to like sit and just play Bloodborne because it's that type of game where you kind of want to devote all your energy into it. But yeah, like I found it to be not forgiving, but I found it easier to learn and understand.
Kira now.
A lot of other ones.
Weird. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
That's good.
Interesting.
All right. So
I
this
feel
is
like Jedi Fallen Order was the closest I'll get.
Yeah.
Because it has that Star Wars wrapper, and I'm like, okay, it's worth it for me.
But dude, if you like that might help you out though with Bloodborne playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Kevin.
All right, boys and girls, here it goes.
You seem different. Untouched by false truths.
So you got some fantasy stuff going on here.
Will you pry these gifts from the unwilling?
A dark fantasy
Or
vibe.
will you let them rot?
It's pretty well produced.
Yeah. It was from a brand new
Bring the gland
indie studio.
back to me.
Oh man.
You got what looks like the undead.
This looks real impressive.
Yeah. You got like your Souls-like combat. You got a sword, got the giant beasts.
An empty shell. Flesh and instinct without purpose.
That shield's pretty dope.
Yeah. Is this doing anything for you, Tim?
This is definitely not for me, but like this looks really good.
Yeah. And this is a trailer that like popped up randomly on my Twitter yesterday, and it's coming 2020. I watched it and I was like, huh. I don't know why, but this is like activating something in me. Like I think I can see myself like getting into this one. Yeah. Another one I want to take a look at. It's called Boundary Orbital Security Detail. So PlayStation actually this morning, the PlayStation Twitter, they tweeted out that they're revealing 5 independent titles coming to PS4 this year. And so I watched quite a few trailers. I don't think all of them were out by the time we started, but this is one of the ones I watched, and I was like, okay, this is actually one I'm gonna pull up. The description goes like this. First-person shooters are a classic genre, having been enjoyed by players across different environments and time periods, including wars, cities, and even other planets. This got us thinking, why can't we set the stage in space? We brought this idea to life by building Boundary as a more simulative, low-orbit environment shooter, and this is what makes Boundary unique.
What?
Kevin.
That just seems weird.
No, once you watch it, you're going to get it. You're going to be like,
we
oh,
got
shit.
shooters in space. Oh, okay. This type of space.
Yeah, no, when they say space, they mean space.
Oh, dude, this looks sick.
And so you got like it's all the okay, so you have like astronaut dressed people with guns in space.
Dude, this is tight.
Yeah, this is real tight.
Holy shit. And the
Basically,
guns,
for audio listener, think like Rainbow Six Siege, but in space.
it looks like the guns have like a recoil thing on them so that the barrel moves back instead of like pushing you back, maybe.
Whoa!
Oh, this is sick.
Oh my god, it looks beautiful too.
It looks awesome. It's giving me a lot of Siege vibes, which I love.
What vibes?
Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, Siege.
Yeah, with like the different the different types of guns, specifically like the guns with like shields on them and stuff. That's very Siege like.
Oh. This is a very interesting idea.
Yeah.
That you do need to see to get. Because just the description's kind of like, all right.
It's like
indies, man.
Dude, they're out here.
They're out here doing
Boundary. And then look at like this logo treatment. Like that looks awesome.
It does. It's a little bizarre, but cool.
And so that's Boundary coming to the PS4 this year.
Hell yeah, man.
Does that one do anything for you, Tim?
That does more for me. I wonder how it controls though. I've never liked how like mech games control. Where you have to like kind of control where you're aiming to shoot, like, but then you're also like using the you know, whatever the fuck it is, the Y-axis, but or Z-axis, all that. When you have all the axes that you need to use at once, it's never felt right. There's been games that are like, oh, this feels pretty good, but it never is fully clicked. I think that looks slow enough that it might actually work. It looks like you might need to make a lot more like planned out maneuvers to be get tactical around. Yeah, so looks cool though. And
then this last one, it's not a trailer. It's just a tweet coming from @Cellar Games. I don't think they've actually revealed this thing yet, but yesterday they tweeted out a picture of the Rogue Legacy logo with the number 2 on it. And I was very skeptical because yesterday was April Fool's Day. And so I was like, I'm not going to get excited about this, but it seems like they're about to reveal Rogue Legacy 2 today. Which if that's the case, I'm going to be very excited about that. That's one that I'm going to recommend to you, Tim, because you like, I believe you like Dead Cells, right?
I loved it.
Yeah. Loved Rogue Legacy has similar vibes. Like it's also like a roguelite, which with a lot of the same mechanics, Castlevania-ish. But stay tuned for that.
Speaking of April Fool's bullshit, you see this DuckTales thing? Did it break your heart?
I did see it.
Oh
I mean, I'm not like the biggest DuckTales person, and so I saw it and I was like, wow, this looks sick. And then, it wasn't real. And I was like, oh,
literally, I saw it and I was like, oh my god. And I clicked on one of the pictures, and then I went to the next one, and then I went to the next. Once it got to the third picture, I was like, this is April Fool's. There's no way this is fucking real. And lo and behold, we got.
Lo and behold, Tim.
Yes,
I'm excited to see when an actual DuckTales remake or new game actually gets revealed, but that's likely so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and grop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Curious Expedition on Switch, Snaky Bus on PS4.
Snaky Bus?
So me and Greg actually have codes for Snaky Bus, and we're both very excited to play this game. This game looks dope. Masm, Jekyll and Hyde for Switch and PC, Meta Champions for Switch, Rascal Fight for Switch, Pocket Harvest for Switch, Junk Jack for Switch, Horror Bundle Volume 1 for Switch, The Ottoman Empire for Switch, Spelunking the Mind Match for PC and Mac, Mad Run for PC, Lone Castle for PC, Easy Puzzle Streets for PC. Streets. It's like Step Up to the Streets, but it's Easy Puzzle Streets.
I love it.
Dead Tides for PC, Lock and Load Tactical Digital for PC and Mac, and then My Friend Pedro is out today for PS4. And then some new dates. John Wick Hex is coming to PS4 on May 5th, and that was part of the
Mike
5
Bithell,
games
baby.
Mike Bithell. It's part of the PS Blog 5 games thing that was going on this morning. Biped, which is also another one that's part of that 5 games package. A robotic co-op adventure saunters onto PS4 on April 8th. Windbound, a high seas exploration game, is coming out on PS4 August 28th, and that was also part of the indie games. And then Someday You'll Return has been delayed to May 5th due to the impact of COVID-19. We have some deals of the day for you. Gone Home and Hob are free via the Epic Game Store. Nier Automata Become as Gods Edition is now available on Xbox Game Pass. And then that's specifically for console.
Why not call it that? You know what I mean? Become as gods.
Cool. Become as gods. Dude,
cool.
everybody should play Nier Automata. I'm gonna say that right now. Nier Automata is probably one of my favorite games. Not even probably, is one of my favorite games of this gen. Like, it is an incredible game. And so if you have Xbox Game Pass, definitely check that out, especially if you love action RPGs or JRPGs or shoot 'em ups or great soundtracks or like fantastic stories that have to do with philosophy and what it means to be human. Check out Nier Automata. It's incredible. And then starting today, all existing owners of the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan will gain access to another free Friends Pass, enabling players to experience one full playthrough of the game via multiplayer shared story mode with a friend that does not own the game. That's how I played it with a buddy. Definitely check that. Well, if you're interested in Man of Medan, check it out. I didn't necessarily love it when I played it, but it's a fun experience for if you're bored at home, definitely. And so there you go. And then lastly, for deal of the day, comedic roguelite RPG Dandy Dungeon is 30% off and is offering a free demo on both Steam and Nintendo Switch. The demos will be live starting at midnight Pacific Standard Time. And I don't know if they mean this midnight or last midnight. Greg was the one who wrote this in, and so I'm just going to say midnight. Now it's time for reader mail. You can write into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is brought to you by patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Tim, why should people check out patreon.com/kindoffunnygames?
2 words: post shows. You're getting exclusive content, baby. You get things ad-free. Who doesn't want that? You know what I mean? Cut out the things you don't like, get more of the things you do like. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. There's a lot of different stuff there. Also, you can get Bless Up. Bless Way? What are we calling it now?
Bless Up now. Bless Up episode 3 just went up this last week. And let me tell you, it's my favorite one yet. It's
there
great.
You go.
I record it, edit it, and do all that stuff. And it's one of those things where I got very bored over this whole stay-at-home situation that I decided that I'm going to edit music under it and create a whole mashed together intro for it. And the intro is not that great, but I was bored. And so if you want to see my edit skills at work, my very like mediocre to average video editing skills, boom, go over there. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Give us, I think, what, like $1 for that?
$1 for Bless Up.
Maybe it's bronze. Yeah. Is it $1 for Bless Up? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so check that out. It's available right now. I talk a lot about music and rap and Janae Aiko. And so if you like any of those things, boom, there you go. Tim.
Yes.
8BitGeek writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can, and says, with the news that Gearbox is not paying its staff the expected bonuses, but something much lower, and responding to employees by allegedly saying, quote, if they weren't happy with the royalty system, they were welcome to quit, end quote. How do I, as a gamer, do something about that? I have already bought the game, so I can't vote with my wallet. But in uncertain times, I cannot stomach the thought that people are being treated this way. Aside from raging on Twitter, I can't see much I can do. Also, I know this must put you guys in a tough spot as you are partnered with Borderlands 3, but I have no doubt you will report the story properly and say the right things, which I think is what I think is a big part of what makes KF special. Please keep up the great work, 8BitGeek. Tim, have you heard about this Gearbox situation going on?
I'm not fully like, I don't know all the details. I read a little bit about it. First off, starting with the second part, talking about us being in a tough spot. Absolutely not. Just full transparency. When we do deals that are as deep as like the Borderlands show deal that we did, Greg and I make sure that we have it said in the contract that we are allowed to report on news as negative as it might be. So it's like we make sure that we totally are protected in the sense that it's like we first and foremost this is what we do. So it's like our opinion cannot get bought. So
yeah, and this was reported. We didn't have this as a news item today or yesterday because Greg, toward the end of the show, it was breaking news. Towards the end of the show, and then Gary and Greg actually read through the whole article and broke it down and talked about it there. And so if you missed it, definitely towards the end of yesterday's episode, you can find a whole conversation there about it. But yeah, put shortly, if you're out of the loop, Gearbox, it was reported by Jason Schreier that there are. Hold on, I'm going to pull up his tweet because he actually summarized it very good in his tweet. But essentially, there are bonuses that are expected to be paid to Gearbox employees that were promised to Gearbox employees that were not paid. And yeah, basically, I think it was Randy Pitchford that was like, if you don't like it, you're welcome to quit, which is shitty.
Especially when it's not if you don't like it, it's that you're not doing the system right. They do like the
Yeah.
system. You're not putting it out the correct way. Yeah, obviously, super shitty stuff. Not good at all.
This is Jason's tweet right here. He says, Gearbox, developer of Borderlands, pays below market wages. To make up for that, the studio offers profit sharing and promised staff 5 and 6 figure bonuses for Borderlands 3 until yesterday when CEO Randy Pitchford told staff this wasn't happening. Some Gearbox developers say they had made financial plans based on bonuses they were promised last year. Those plans are now upended. Meanwhile, Randy Pitchford took a $12 billion bonus from the company when Borderlands 3 started development in 2016. And so, yeah. In terms of how do we deal with this as a player when you've already bought the game, I mean, I think being vocal is really the thing you can do. Right?
He's saying, aside from raging on Twitter, I can't see much I can do. I think that is doing a lot. Rage maybe not be the right word, but yeah, put it out there. Like the put the heat on them, right? Because that's the type of stuff that is going to expose this to more people and actually enact some type of change. Because we've talked about this so much, but buying Borderlands 3, not buying Borderlands 4, is affecting not just Randy Pitchford; it's affecting the entire team.
It's affecting people at the lower level along with the higher level. But like I'm one to say that like being vocal about things, speaking up about things, being loud on Twitter, I think those are all valid approaches. Of course, like don't be toxic, don't attack developers. Voice, like filter your energy in the right ways to the right place, right? Like make sure people are aware that this is going on, and the more people that are aware this is going on, the more that they'll have to respond to it. And so I think that's really all you can do as a consumer. If you feel compelled to boycott, then for sure, like do that. Also, but I understand how that then gets complicated in terms of sending the right message, because like I've talked about this before, that there are games that I've had that similar thing with. Do I boycott this game because I don't like how they're treating developers? But then I hear developers talking about their work on the game and they're very proud of it, and it's like, okay, well, if I don't buy the game, I'm kind of hurting them. But if I do buy the game, am I supporting this company? Oftentimes, it's a difficult thing to wrap your head around or make a decision with. And when you're outspoken and you talk about these things and you continue those conversations and not let people forget, I think that does actually go a long way in terms of making sure that you're keeping companies accountable and keeping people accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
TechHass. I'm going to say TechHass. TechHass writes it. I'm going to say Haas. Writes in and says, "Hi, Tim and Blessing. Yesterday, the New York Times published an article introducing gaming to people stuck indoors. Let me say this again. Yesterday, the New York Times published an article introducing gaming to people stuck indoors due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think when this is all over, gaming will be much more mainstream than it is now? What benefits could that do to next gen consoles? Thanks so much for making our days in quarantine go by a little bit easier. Techie Haas."
I don't think it's going to have much, if any, real effect on the next gen. I do think it's going to mean that Animal Crossing sells way more units than probably expected. But yeah, I feel like it's a tall order to truly convert non-gamers to gamers, even if they're stuck at home. I think that it'll definitely create a couple new gamers, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's noticeable.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that too. I think you'll see new people come in for sure in this time being, but how many of those stick around? I don't know if that's going to be a large number. Like you're seeing people being stuck at home reflected in the animal sales for sure, or Animal Crossing sales for sure. And I think you might see that with like upcoming games too, games that are coming out within the next month or so. I think you'll see sales probably be higher, specifically digitally. But in terms of the long-term ramifications, who knows? Like I don't see it making that big of a jump. Like I think once things start opening up again, once we're able to not social distance anymore, that you might see a drop off in terms of people that are playing video games. But we'll see. Like video games are already a mainstream thing. Like I've never really even thought about video games in terms of like how many people in the mainstream are playing them, because the way I view it, kind of everybody plays video games to some extent, whether it is like console games or mobile games or PC games or or to whatever extent. And so, yeah, I don't really see this affecting like next gen, for example, in any significant way.
Yeah.
So there you go. Then last question, Frankfurtter writes in and says, "Good morning, Blessing and Tim. Let's talk real quick about Final Fantasy VII Remake's file size. A whopping 100 gigs. That's 1/10 of a terabyte, and depending on the console you have, that's 1/5 of your entire memory. While next gen has boasted about fast loading times, the Xbox Series X is launching with 1 terabyte SSD, and Sony has yet to reveal their size. Games are getting larger in size, and one would think so. One would think so would the space to store them. Will 1 terabyte remain the norm for the next generation, or do you think we'll see consoles jump up 2 or 5 terabytes? Thanks for all you do, Frankfurtter." Tim, this has been a thing that's been on my mind too, because right now I have a 4 terabyte external hard drive, plus my 500 gigabyte launch PS4, and that's serving me well right now. But I also made that upgrade only a few years ago. I had my 500 gigabytes until I'm going to say like 2017, maybe 2016. And legit by a year and a half in, I was already hitting the roof in terms of my storage. And it's very frustrating. I have a PS4 at the office that's only 500 gigs, and that can carry about like 4 or 5 big games, depending on the games I'm getting. What do you see as the future of storage?
Hard drives are so cheap at this point that I feel that it is not outlandish to just have the option to buy an external drive if you need the extra storage. Solid state drives are very expensive on the other side. So I do not see, especially with the shift over to solid state drives being the standard in next gen, I don't see it being more than 1 terabyte. Like that, it would just be prohibitively expensive. But on top of that, though, I feel that the technologies that are going to be instilled next gen, things like cloud gaming and stuff, are going to solve some of these problems. And especially if we do see that shift to games having like parts of the game downloadable separately, like if you don't want multiplayer, you just don't download that part of it. I think that can help with all of this. But yeah, I don't think that I don't think this is going to be a problem that is solved. I think that we're still going to have, the games are going to keep getting bigger, and we're going to have to be doing a lot of archiving, re-downloading, and all that when we're playing games. But yeah, I don't know. I think that this is one of those battles that we're not going to win.
Now it's time to squad up. Julian writes in, the gluten-free gamer, with an Xbox One squad up. Julian's Xbox gamer tag is JGSkills02, and Julian says, "The new mode Gridiron on Gears 5 seems like a fun time. Looking to help facilitate our required time at home and playing some Gears online with the best friends. Hope everyone is staying safe no matter the platform you choose." And boom, if you want to go play Gears 5 with Julian, go ahead and add him. It's JG space skills space 02 on Xbox One. Get some Gridiron and have a good old time. Now it's time for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to see what we got wrong today. And oh boy. People
talking about the fans.
Tim,
oh no.
Tim, would you be surprised?
Oh no.
Last of Us Part 2 in Iron Man VR delayed until further notice. Wait, I'm gonna verify.
Have you verified that? Like,
I'm on Twitter.
There's a million of them in here. Yep, this comes from PlayStation's Twitter. Update. SIE has made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. And then they follow up with by saying, currently there are no other delays to report, but we'll keep you updated.
Fuck,
man. Well, oh boy, that sucks. It's interesting that they don't mention Ghost of Tsushima. It's specifically Last of Us VR it's specifically Iron Man VR and The Last of Us Part 2, which makes me think the fact that they're including Iron Man VR in this with The Last of Us Part 2 makes me think that it's just the next couple of months kind of thing.
Well, it's because May.
May, right? And Ghost of Tsushima being June, maybe they're holding out. that things will blow over by then. But what does that mean in terms of Last of Us's release date? There's a whole conversation that will probably be had tomorrow and on PS I Love You.
Yes.
Because this means, I bet this means that Ghost of Tsushima then comes out before The Last of Us Part 2, and Last of Us Part 2 maybe gets delayed till like, and depending on if Ghost of Tsushima even comes out in June, with this being the case, because I don't know. This will probably last. Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to get delayed also.
This obviously all the stuff needs to happen, and I get it, but this really sucks because this is now what we're about to see the ramifications of. There's going to be a drought. There's going to be a long period of time where Final Fantasy VII is probably the last game we get like of substance, for quite a while. Oh
man,
this bums me the fuck out so much. Literally the day that we're starting our Last of Us stream.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I meant to promo that. We're also streaming.
We're still today. Nick's gonna play through Last of Us for the first time. He's gonna start it today with Greg Miller.
Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. People are talking about their PS4s dying, but I'm having like mixed stuff because I have one person here saying that the PS4 has a safeguard when it gets to, in case it gets too hot, it'll shut down and will display a red light. I mean, that's like the same thing that the yellow light of death and the red ring of death were, but your consoles are pretty much dead at that point. Bob's writes in and says, Mark Cerny's comments on the PS5 specs was that PS4 Pro sounds loud, not that it runs hot. Yeah, but it sounds loud because the fans turning up because it's running hot. People are talking about thermal paste. See, the DuckTales game was real in the sense that, okay, well, this is, no, I'm not gonna do that one. All right, yeah, that's pretty much it for kindoffunny.com/wrong. This sucks, man.
This really, dude, this
really sucks.
My day, man. God damn it.
I guess I'm just gonna stay home and I don't know, man, play some Rocket League. We'll see.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's hosts are gonna be me and Tim again.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about this in the post show. We'll just be sad about this in the post show. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, game daily.